Бажаю здоров'я, дорогі українці, слава Україні. Ну, в двох словах можна поговорити про обстановку на Курському напрямку. Сьогодні 11 березня 25-го року. Да? Ситуація з складної і критичної перетворилася в катастрофу.
On February 25th, a flurry of accurate Russian drone strikes knocked out dozens of Ukrainian vehicles along the main road to Sudzha, the town that is, or perhaps the better word, was the main base for the 10,000-strong Ukrainian force occupying a significant but quickly shrinking salient in Kursk Oblast in western Russia. That was the day you started worrying about Kursk, wrote independent analyst Andrew Perpetua, reports the US-based Forbes magazine. 2 weeks later, it seems the bulk of the Ukrainian force, including some of the Ukrainian army's heaviest brigades, has either been destroyed or forced to retreat from Kursk and repositioned on the Ukrainian side of the border. The Russian army is conducting a major counteroffensive in the Kursk region, which was invaded by Ukrainian forces in August of 2024. In just the past 24 hours, Russian troops have liberated 12 settlements and recaptured over 100 square kilometers of territory. This week, the industrial zone in Sudzha, the largest Russian city under the control of the armed forces of Ukraine, was also retaken. Ukrainian forces are retreating. This was made clear by the AFU Commander-in-Chief, General Alexander Sursky, who said that, and I quote, "Units are taking timely measures to maneuver to favorable defense lines." The dramatic shift in the situation on the front can be attributed to the success of Russia's top-secret Operation Potok, in English, Flow. A unit of 800 Russian soldiers walked several miles through an empty gas pipeline to infiltrate Ukrainian positions. Below are the details of this operation. So today's video is focused solely on the amazing Russian Operation Flow. We take a deep dive into how the Russian offensive through the Sudzha gas pipeline unfolded based on new information released from Russian sources. So to keep this show running, I asked that you continue to donate via Super Thanks or PayPal, and even better, consider joining the channel membership. I created a short trailer video letting you know what you get when you join, and it is in the end screen. There is also some bonus footage at the end of the video. So a quick shout out to my newest channel members here, and let's get into it.
В Суджу заходить приходится по разрушенному мосту под остатки колонны, которая...
Prior to January 1st of 2025, gas was transported from Russia to Europe via the Urengoy-Pomary-Uzhgorod pipeline, which passes through Ukrainian territory. Although Vladimir Zelensky halted gas transit, the pipeline remains. Russian fighters decided to utilize these pipes to secretly approach the fortified positions of the armed forces of Ukraine near Sudzha. Preparations for the operation took about 4 months. The mission itself started in early March and lasted just over a week. The primary goal was to conduct sabotage operations in the enemy territory, compel Ukrainian forces to withdraw from occupied areas in Kursk and move towards Sudzha, where they would be met by Russian troops. On March 1st, oxygen tanks were delivered to the site of the operation. The following day, Russian soldiers entered the gas pipeline in small groups and started moving towards Sudzha. This isn't the first time that Russian troops have employed pipeline tactics. In January of 2024, almost a year ago to exact, military scouts, along with the veterinary unit, used an abandoned pipe to reach the rear positions of the armed forces of Ukraine in a fortified area on the southern outskirts of Avdiivka. In the Donetsk People's Republic. Amid artillery and mortar shelling, which masked the sounds of the work, Russian troops cleared the 2-kilometer-long or 1.2-mile passage and installed ventilation. This operation greatly helped Russian forces capture the Avdiivka fortress. In quotations, This isn't the first time they've used the pipes, that's for sure. In Sudzha, they leveraged the experience gained from a previous mission in Avdiivka. From what I understand, some of the guys in the veterinary unit who participated in the Avdiivka operation were also involved in the operation in Sudzha, says military blogger and volunteer of the Española Brigade, Alexei Zivov. However, this time, the situation was a lot more complex.
Что час-полтора перерыва от обстрелов — это уже очень-очень хорошо.
The soldiers spent several days in complete darkness with limited access to fresh air. In such conditions, they had to navigate over 15 kilometers, or more than 9 miles, through a 1.4 meter wide, 4.5 foot pipe. Numerous challenges arose during the operation. Although the pipe was wide, it wasn't tall enough for the fighters to walk upright. Moreover, some leftover gas remained inside, so it was difficult to breathe. Engineering troops devised a ventilation system, drilling holes wherever possible to allow air to flow in. Special protective gear was necessary to prevent poisoning. Carts were used to deliver water and other essentials. In an exclusive Russia Today video, you can see a fighter showing one of these carts to reporters.
Ты качаешь ее или как ты едешь?
The soldiers moved in groups of 5, maintaining a distance of about 10 meters. When they paused, they spread out 2 meters from each other to breathe more comfortably. In quotations, while they were looking for oxygen and preparing everything, many compromised their health. Our guys spent days hauling communications equipment, water, and living in that pipe, military correspondents said about the operation. The entry into the pipe, conducted in small groups to avoid drawing the enemy's attention and raising suspicions, stretched over 4 days. It took several days to move through the pipe, and then the troops had to wait a few more days to receive orders for the assault. Near the exit points, special underground facilities were set up, and food, water, and ammunition supplies were stockpiled. One of the key exit points was the bypass road north of Sudzha. By the morning of March 8th, the fighters were ready for the assault. On receiving the appropriate command, they exited the pipe through the pre-prepared openings and brought the necessary supplies to the surface. From there, they went to execute their combat missions. The large unit split up and dispersed across the area. Some fighters headed toward the industrial part of Sudzha, while others targeted nearby settlements. The operation caught the Ukrainian army off guard. Some Ukrainian forces attempted to resist, but were swiftly eliminated. The rest fled, abandoning their equipment and resources. In quotations, the enemy was taken by surprise. Ukrainians began shelling the pipe with cluster munitions approximately half an hour after the landing of the Russians. However, Russian troops had already infiltrated the area and secured their positions, causing panic among the armed forces of Ukraine, said military expert Yevgeny Klimov about this phase of the operation. To capitalize on their success and secure a foothold in the area, the Russians are deploying new units and divisions backed by armored vehicles. The fighters who took part in the operation attacked the enemy and also helped other units advance. The element of surprise led to the chaotic retreat of the armed forces of Ukraine as the Ukrainians attempted to flee Sudzha and its surroundings. Meanwhile, the Russians attacked them by means of artillery and drones.
Сидело там больше 100-200 человек.
Изначально туда заготавливали, то, что перед тем, как они заходили, мы все это разметили.
Around 800 fighters from various units participated in the operation, including the 11th and 106th Brigades, the 30th Regiment, Marine Corps units, the Veterinary Brigade, the Vostok Brigade, and the Akhmat Special Forces unit. All of them volunteered to take part, fully aware that this might be a one-way mission. In quotations, Russian assault troops spent several days preparing for this operation, using precision-guided bombs to clear the area from which they would launch the assault on Sudzha, sources familiar with the planning revealed. To make our way through the pipe, we had to pump out the gas and inject oxygen. Once we received the order, we got out, immediately entered the industrial zone and took control of it, pushing back the enemy. The enemy was caught off guard, and this led to confusion and panic in the armed forces of Ukraine. Thanks to this, we liberated many settlements, Cherkaskoye, Poroshene, Malaya, Loknia, Martinovka, Pravda, Mikhailovka, Kubatkin, and many others. The enemy never anticipated such an offensive or that our forces could infiltrate its rear, 15 kilometers from the front lines, recounted Boris, a fighter in the Special Forces. A former PMC Wagner fighter who also participated in the operation reflected on its main challenges. The first 72 hours were the toughest. We consumed a lot of painkillers. My lungs burned and I had a splitting headache. Then came the fever and tears flowed. There were moments of hallucination. It was exhausting, yes, said a fighter with the military call sign Mowgli. It was tough, but we made it through. Our job is to go anywhere and at any time. We had to push ourselves beyond our limits. Panic set in due to the confined space and darkness. We had to crawl through the pipe. Imagine being 2 meters tall and having to bend down to fit into a pipe that's only 1.4 meters wide. But that was minor compared to our goal, to show up where they least expected us, and in such numbers that it would instill fear and send them running. And that's exactly what happened, explained a soldier with the call sign Medved, or in English, bear. After the operation, Lieutenant General Apti Aludanov, commander of the Akhmat Special Forces, showed the process of preparing the troops for the mission. During a motivational speech on the evening of March 1st, he described the upcoming mission as pivotal and referred to all participants as heroes. In quotations, "When we accomplish this task, the course of this war will change completely," he predicted.
Быстрее, побыстрее. И уход по своим направлениям. Прием.
Russian military analysts believe that, thanks to this operation, the full liberation of the Kursk region is just around the corner. Considering what's happening across all fronts, the complete liberation of Kursk is just a matter of time. I think it will be a week or two. Our soldiers are professional and highly motivated, retired Captain Vasily Dandikin said in a recent media interview. With rain expected this week, Ukrainian forces will struggle to navigate dirt roads. Meanwhile, Russian troops are encircling them, blowing up bridges, and have already liberated over 10 settlements in just a few days. The rapid progress indicates a collapse in the enemy's defenses, Dandikin explained. He noted the significance of liberating Malaya Loknia, a settlement near Sudzha, which Russian fighters were able to reach through the gas pipeline. The circle around Sudzha is closing in, and when Russian forces advance along major routes, the Ukrainian army will be forced to flee. The enemy has no options left in this situation, Dandikin concluded. And now, my friends, on the morning of February 12th, we have this report from Russian media via Novosti. The Russian flag was raised on the central square of the city of Sudzha in the Kursk region. The commander of the parachute battalion of the 11th Separate Guards Airborne Assault Brigade, operating as part of the North Troop Group, told via Novosti. Further, Forbes magazine claims on the same day that the most combat-ready brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine have also left the territory of the Russian region. One of the Ukrainian military who wished to remain anonymous admitted to the agency that he and his comrades were fleeing from the Kursk region. The publication says that the main part of the armed forces of Ukraine, including the strongest brigades, left Kursk and relocated to the Ukrainian side of the border, to the Sumy region. Russian sources confirm that many Ukrainian armed forces did manage to escape, abandoning equipment and heavy weapons, but not everyone managed to get out.
Вот они, блядь. Пидорасы, ну. Один, второй, блядь. Третий, четвертый.
Some units were completely killed, such as one of the battalions of the elite 95th Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, which held the defense in Malaya Loknia. Most of the retreating Ukrainian units suffered very heavy losses. To regain their combat capability, they need time, a lot of people, and a huge amount of new equipment.
Спасибо.